Well, it certainly is a waiting game on here. So there's a guy who's moved in a couple of swims down. I never heard him come by, but I saw a marker float. In fact, I can see it out there now. Right in the middle of where all the buoys are, which, is often quite a clear area, and I fished it myself. But it can be a bit dodgy, especially when the swimmers and the boaters come out. So I tend not to put baits there. That's why I'm actually changed the area that I'm fishing. Thursday, Friday, I was fishing at 40 yards. I'm now fishing at 30. And the reason for that is that I decided I wanted to be nearer the main weed bed, not over it, but next to it. So I put all the bait next to it, which is a bit clearer, and it's well clear now. Especially now I put the weed rake through it and all that bait that's been out there. So I thought I might have had a run by now. 1 o'clock. Do tend to get runs here sort of mid-morning, afternoons. So I'll be staying until dark again and putting out the rest of the couple of kilos that I brought with me. I want to stick in a couple of kilos between each swim, each spot, each day. I want plenty of bait going out there. I want to try and pull the fishing onto the bait as fast as possible. If it means that I blank a few sessions, well, I don't really want that, but I think the most important thing is just to get the spots clear, keep as much bait going in as possible, not too much obviously. So yeah, I've played this game before. But it tends to work out if you just keep fishing the spots and putting bait on. It really does depend, of course, on the amount of pressure this lake has seen this year, and how many fish have been caught. I think it's been busy. But September, October, 2 best months of the year. So, So I must have fallen asleep for some time. More than half an hour, that's for sure. You just drop off and you think it's only 5 minutes, but it's a lot longer. Still no bites. Wind's got up. Not too chilly still though, it's not too bad. I've got my trousers on, my over trousers, and I'm warm, so yeah. Also gone over to my Ski-Tex boots as well, because my feet were a little bit cold on Friday, so yeah. So it took me 3 casts to get that bait out. I just woke up. Clipped up beautifully. The thing I like about clipping up is that you don't have to worry about trapping the line or anything like that. And I'm used to a much smaller spool as well, so that actually makes life a bit easier for me with these new reels. So you can just sort of concentrate on the cast, not worry about the distance at all. And even though I'm fishing at 30 or so yards, it just makes life a lot easier because the distance is right. So you just basically aim at it and fire at it and let the clip do its business. When it's windy like this though, quite often it's a good idea to make sure you follow it down so that the lead's not too far off the water when it hits the clip. The reason for that is that when it hits the clip, it will veer to the right or to the left, depending on the way the wind is blowing, of course. You don't want that, so yeah, you just got to sort of make sure you follow it in and get it right, which I did on the 3rd cast. So, time to put the kettle on. You watch the rods. It really is about time one of these rods went off, isn't it? So I've just put another 2 good handfuls on the left hand rod and another good handful on the right hand rod. with the spawn. Spot on. Just trying to make something happen, really. I got a feeling they were on me earlier on this morning, because there was definitely a carp on that spot after I baited up, but I hadn't cast out. That's why I was expecting a run, I really was. It didn't come. They are cute on here though, so, you know, 40 years old, they know everything, seen it all. I'm using straightforward helicopter rigs at the moment with little 2-ounce torpedoes, just because of the weed and everything. But as that spot clears out there, and that one to the right, it might be a good idea to go on a flathead system. I might try that tomorrow. I've done well out of here on the flathead system, but it doesn't work when you're fishing over weed. You've got to have a cleanish bottom. It can be silty in that, a little bit of weed and chod, detritus, but generally speaking, you know. But that's only if I think they're being a bit riggy. At the moment, I've had no indications that the carp's been on the end of my line. So, you know, if I start getting a few twitches or get a twitch or something like that, then maybe I'd start thinking that they were picking up the rig and getting away with it. But yeah. Got a short 7-inch rig on the left-hand rod out there. Right-hand rod is my usual 10 inches. It's a little bit silty, a little bit of silkweed to the right, so just want to make sure that that's, you know, falls down it real easy on it. When I get here tomorrow, if I can get in a swim, I should be able to. Generally speaking, it's not too bad on here at this time of year. I'll rake again. I'll put in a little bit of bait because I will be baiting up tonight. And then we'll see. We've still got the rest of the day. I feel a bit more confident now that, you know, I'm getting the spots sorted, but of course, you know, I fished this swim a number of times and I've fished these kinds of areas, this kind of distance a lot here, and it does work well, so they do come in close in this lake. Well, that wind has certainly picked up. It's still nice and warm though. It's 10 to 5. I can't believe the time's just flown by today. I'm at the back lead because quite a bit of drifting weed coming down the lake and catching on the lines. My last recast, it was like a washing line, so yeah. Only on the left hand rod, I've left the right hand rod, it's not too bad. When I was clearing the weed out on the spot out there, I was also pulling the weed rake back through the swim as well, trying to catch any weed between me and the spot. So backleading isn't such a problem. There's a fish been shown on the other side. I'm pretty sure it's the same fish. I seem to see that most days now. Weather's great. Plenty of cloud cover. Good wind, warm. I'm not catching. Well, we've got the boaters out at the moment, making plenty of noise. Thankfully they stand mostly away from me. They'll be here for about an hour, then we'll probably have another load. Just had a fish top over the swim. Can't be sure what it was. Don't think it was a big carp though. I'm not quite sure why they take these kids out. I suppose it's just so they can let off some steam, because they certainly don't seem to be learning much. I got to be honest, with all this noise and commotion up here, it's difficult to stay here after about 5 o'clock. I actually thought about going a few minutes ago, but I tend to push myself, so, you know. Well, these people out there, they don't know what they're doing. They're just out for a joyride, and there doesn't seem to be any supervision either. Some of them are alright. There's trying to stay out in the middle there, and they're not coming so close in, but some people just don't care at all. And you try to explain to them that you've got lines there, 18-pound line, but they're not going to break. Yeah, it's windy out there, isn't it, sweetheart? You're really struggling. Why they always go down on the end of the wind and then struggle, I don't know. That guy over there, who I think I know, set up a little while ago, he was all quietly settled in within 15 minutes, sat down, opened his chips and started eating them, and then this lot come out. Right over his swim, look at him. I tell you, there's too little care in this world for other people. You know, I'm fishing 30 yards out because of this. No point in fishing any further out. You know, try and keep away from them. That's why I'm in this swim. It seems to be the one that they tend to stay away from the most. I don't know. I'm only here for the fish, and I'm not catching them, am I? It's really hard. It's not that hard. It's mentally tough, isn't it, really? I really thought I should have caught by now, you know? But, you know, when you sort of put your eggs all in one basket, and if the fish aren't around, and if they're not around in numbers, but I'm going to keep putting the bait in, and I'm going to keep on trying, because if I don't do that, I won't know if it works, will I? Or at least I won't know if it works here this week. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it a day. I got things to do. I'll put a load of bait in and go. Watcher, so it's 7 o'clock in the morning. I left home at 6. I've been cast out for about 20 minutes or so. Just getting the kettle on, actually. Seems to be the most important thing. I'm not allowed coffee. Not until later on in the day. Because it strips you. Not good for your digestion in the morning, so tea. That's going to take some adjustment. So, clipped up, cast out, right on the spot, right hand rod, right on the spot as well, just out there in the margin. No bait out because I spawned last night, put out plenty of bait, and I suspect there'll still be some around. I decided to do the morning because simply ain't doing any good in the afternoons and evenings, am I? And I'm not seeing really any fish at all, so I thought I'd try a morning session. It's not like me normally to do mornings on here, but it's actually the quieter part of the day. So I switched both rigs over to pendulum setups with little lead clips, 1 ounce leads. The thing I like about the little pendulum with the 1 ounce lead is that 1 ounce lead on that pendulum just hangs into the weed, but the clip and everything all sits on the top nicely. Although I do cut the tail rubbers down to make sure they pull off the leaders, the little rubbers and that, they do help to just help it prop up. You pop it in the margin. See. It also helps if you follow it down as well. So I haven't seen anything move at all. There's quite a lot of people fishing here. Next swim has got someone in it, bivvy. Swim up there's got a bivvy in it. That's got a bivvy in it. There's a day angler over there like me. And so it's been getting busier actually. The weather's improving, that sun's gone in, which is good. I don't like morning sun, it generally ruins your fishing. And we'll see if we can't get a bite this morning. Because we certainly weren't getting them in the afternoon and evening, were we? I've got to be honest with you, I'm not seeing any fish moving at all really. This is now my 4th session. I'm not seeing any fish moving really at all. That opposite margin there, about the only one really that's sort of regular in any shape or form. It seems to be really quiet here, you know. Yesterday morning, just after I put that bait out, I saw all that fizzing going on in the spot. That was a carp. There's no doubt about it. So they've been on me. I've put in at least 6 or 7 kilos of bait. You know, there's no way that's all been eaten by the rudd. So it could be the presentation. A lot of the time it is. It really is. Especially in weedy waters, can be difficult. But I've been working on that. You know, and I've been happy with that. And the rigs have been coming back clean, and I can feel it down, you know, I can feel it bumping. So, I remember Lake Severn was like this. Just, you knew the fish were there, but it was just so difficult to catch them. This is what happens on really hard pressured waters, and this is a pressured water. But you know what? I don't mind putting in effort, you know, I don't mind giving it a really good go, but I'm not going to bang my head against the wall. It's noisy, it can be difficult. If the fishing's really hard as well, go somewhere else. You know, so I'm thinking about the River-Ouse, some great fish in there. It's not easy either, but you get rewarded for your efforts. And on so many waters like these nowadays, you just don't get rewarded for your efforts. I mean, I'm choosing this swim, you know, I've been in this swim constantly for like the last 4 days, and I think that's pretty much why it hasn't got a bivvy in it. But a lot of the time I come here, you can't get this swim. It's like a lot of places, you just can't choose to swim. So you might know where the carp are, but you can't get near them. Whereas on the Great Ouse, it's a totally different kettle of fish. If they're not in front of you, they can be miles away. But it is quieter. And like I say, you do tend to get rewarded for your hard work. We should get one this morning, we really should. I'm actually thinking of taking that right hand rod out and popping it over there as well. Oh, there you go. Actually seen a carp come out of the water. There you go, right near that blue buoy. Well, what do you know? We'll leave that right hand rod as it is at the moment, but I am very tempted to move it slightly right of that buoy out there on my spot. I'm pretty sure I've got enough room. But I do like only having one rod on the spot, I must admit. I'm might over in the mind. I'm just checking the river levels. There you go. This is the Great Ouse, the area that I fish on Great Ouse. It has been going up, which probably indicates a little bit more flow in the river. I visited it a couple of weeks ago and there weren't any flow. I sat there talking to the bailiff about it. Decided that I wanted to return when there was a little bit more flow. Hold on, there's something hanging off. So that does indicate that the flow has been fairly consistent, but has risen. Probably need to see more detailed information over the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks to see if there's a steady increase, which is what you're looking for. But the Ouse does go up and down because, of course, there's the tidal bits to it and all the locks and everything else. So I think I might give it a visit and call it a day on this place, especially if I blank today. You know, I haven't got time to waste. It's September. It's the best month of the year. I need to get places where I can catch fish. Not much point sitting day by day waiting to catch a fish and not. Well, I've taken out that right hand rod and I've popped it out on the spot. I don't mind having two rods on the spot, and sometimes it's actually paid off where, you know, one rod's going and the other one isn't, and they're only like a few yards apart. But I've worked this spot out there so well that I know that my left hand rod is on the right place. It's right on it, you know, I can feel it. So yeah, but that right hand rod came back with a lot of silkweed all over it. But there's quite a lot in, especially close in, it seems. I don't think it was going to be doing any good. Plus we've got someone fishing down beside it and obviously fishing up to this way, so that kind of concerned me when I first got here, when I spotted that. I'm thinking, because often when I fish that swim, I fish these margins here under the trees. So all in all, I thought it's worth a go. I'm only going to be here for a couple of 3-4 hours more at the most. You know, the morning's passing. I have to make a decision, so I decided to go for it. So my right hand rod is about 1.5 meters, 2 meters to the right of my left hand rod on that area that I've been baiting up and clearing. We've got a perch working down in front of us here. You can just see the bubbles in the water there where it's hammering into the fry. I've been sitting here watching it for the last 4 days. He's catching. So I haven't seen a single fish roll, leap, jump or anything on this side of the lake. The only fish that I've seen out in front of me or anywhere to the left was over the other side there, and that was the same fish. Probably the same fish that's been doing it all week and last week too. Wouldn't surprise me. If you ever watch the carp in the lake, see them moving around, you'll see that certain fish tend to do that more than the others. Some fish never do it. I really thought I would have caught a fish by now, I must admit. I used to be able to come down here and never fail to catch. Just a matter of 4 or 5 years ago, I seem to be able to come down here and catch every time I come. But now I come down and do the same things, and they just don't seem to work. I've noticed this on waters, especially some of the smaller waters that I've fished, where, you know, you'll be happily catching away on a method in an area, and all of a sudden it just stops working, and you've got to try something else. You've got to do something else in that area or go to another area. Yeah. You learn fast. You know, it's a sad thing, but it's never going to be like it was. It's never ever going to return to those days like it was here back in 1981, 80, 81, 2, 3, 4, 5, right up to 1990, where it was private, quiet. Fishing wasn't always easy, it wasn't always hard, but it, you know, you could catch a few and you could have a good time. Now, yeah, it's a shadow of its former self, and it's only the fish and the memories, I suppose, that really keep me coming back. Quite often when you've got weed on the line, what you need to do is just keep pulling your line like that, and the wind will help it run down the line and it will detach itself. If it's just a small bit, if it's a big chunk, you bug it. There you go. What was that? A bit of activity there from the left-hand rod. I've got one on, but it's weeded me up. Not sure if it's still on. It's still on. Yeah, it's still on. Caught the other line. Well, we're a bit of a 2 and 8 with the other line, but we can soon sort that. Excellent. Long time. We finally got one. One of the newer stockfish, so it's one of the smaller ones, but I think you'll agree the colours on it. Bit of a beast. Just let it get rid of some of its excess energy. Best to keep them on their bellies when they're doing this rather than their side. Yeah, I think this is your best side. Are you going to behave yourself now, let me pick you up? I guess if you're going to catch fish from here, these are the ones you're going to catch the most. But look at the colour on that, look at the length of it. No gut. Considering all the boilies that go in here, you'd think it'd be fatter, but these commons, they don't seem to grow, in this water at least. It takes them 40 years to get the mid-20s up, 30s, low 30s, whatever. But it's a fish, it's a bite, left-hand rod. And I got it right. Didn't wind the handle, I actually tightened the bait runner perfectly. Weeded me up solid, but I just let it swim out. Right, happy days. Let's see if we can get another one. Well, both rods are out again, and both are back on that spot. So I'm chuffed. I got a bite, you know. It actually worked, like it's supposed to bloody work. That was an easy bite, because it just went to the top slowly before it charged off, so I had time to think. It's the front, Steve, don't wind the handle. It all went right. Fish ran straight in a hard weed. I couldn't pull it out, so I was putting the rod down and it just slipped off again, picking it up eventually. You know, just give them a bit of line. So that's good, it worked. Left hand rod, well chuffed, because it took me 3 casts to get that right. Just took me 2 casts to get the left hand rod right again, and the right hand rod 2 casts as well. It's worth it. Each time I have to make up a little stick with some mesh just to put over the hook, so that it basically gets down fast and it gets past the weed without hooking up. So 10 inches of 20 pound Gardner Pro mainline, a nice sharp size 8 ultra sharp from Jason Hayward, specialist sharpened hooks, Crazy Nut boilie, an 18mm boilie chewed down a bit, and then a little sack of crumb on the end of it to protect the hook. 1 ounce lead, that's it. Works, doesn't it? That's probably why I got that run where it went to the top slowly first, probably because the carp was waiting for the heavy lead and it never came. By then it was too late. It's not too late to get another run. It's still only 10 o'clock, so we've got a few hours. Feel happy at last.